Alright guys, I spent most of the day running around outside of the shop, but finally got loose ends tightened up, and I got the yard cut and all that junk in preparation for Friday, so that way my yard don't turn into Jungle City. I just came down here a little while ago I was going to pull the heads off, but I haven't even thought, because it's a pain in the neck to pull off that serpentine, the bracket for the serpentine belt set up on the driver's side, because you have to go through the pulley, and you know, my pulley has been modified, just in case you didn't. You drill a hole, see if you guys can see it, because they were kind enough to put a bolt right here, right through this pulley. There's a bolt you got to get. So the trick I learned online was you just drill you a hole in there. There's a bolt here, I think, but there's bolts behind this pulley where normally you have to pull this stupid pulley off to remove this assembly. Well, my hopes is that I can get all this off without pulling this stupid pulley off, because I want to be able to pull this cylinder head. So basically I'd kind of gotten started, and then I thought, well, if I'm going to be down here messing with this thing, I might as well record it. So I thought, well, under 15 minutes I should be able to pull all the valve train off of it. And, you know, as usual, well, these are Renegade Pro or something weird like that, but they're supposed to be the hardened heavy duty push rods, but just because they're kind of thicker wall, they still have the balls on them, which I hate. But this motor absolutely was not built to be a high-end race engine. So you get what you get, you don't throw a fit. But I'm going to show you guys, a lot of times you'll see people trying to fight their poly locks loose. You know, like when they're going to disassemble their valve train, they'll fight with these stupid poly locks. Just take a 5/8 breaker bar and just loosen them. There's no reason to get that thing loose, because it's going to lose its, your tightness when you break this thing loose. And you can see these cheap lifters that I put in this engine. None of these. So far, 2 of the lifters on this bank had any pressure to them at all. Like literally, like see, here's one that's got a little bit of pressure. At this point, you know, you should be able to, you know, hold some, you know, more than half of your rocker arm should have some preload, but every one of those cheap lifters is bleeding down. I don't understand why, unless maybe they're just those cheap, you know, because like the better lifters are the anti-pump up, and they have limited travel anti-pump ups and all that junk. But see, like over here, I had one rocker arm that had any preload on it at all. Like you know, the rest of them, as soon as you got them loose, you could just run them down. And we did get a bunch of dirt in this engine. I blew it off. I scraped it and blew it off with the air hose, you know, in preparation to pulling that intake off. But I think I had just quickly mentioned in my video yesterday, just using that Right Stuff sealant on the ends of this block or valley, I guess. You know, I've used that stuff several times. I never noticed it being so doggone hard to get off, because we literally had the engine hoist connected to the lift plate, and we're just kind of working around it because we're literally almost picking the engine up off the ground just on the seal on the ends of the block and that right stuff. So we had tension on it with the engine hoist, and we were going around, you know, hitting it on this end to try to get it to pop loose. And even when it came loose, the back came loose and the front didn't. So that's some serious gasket maker. I see why they use it at all these repair shops, because when it sets up and it seals, it ain't gonna leak. But basically, I'm just gonna pull all these off and get, you know, start the preparation for getting these heads set up for the positive seals and the better valve springs, so I can put that cam in here. I'm gonna do a little bit of figuring online tonight, because I've never really cared enough to look, just to get an idea, you know, what kind of horsepower did this motor make with this little bitty. Because this cam that's in here now, without the 1.6 rockers, is a 443, 465 lift, 214, 224 at 50,000. I mean, it's tiny. You know, by 5,000 RPMs, it's done. And these are just, you know, an extra set of those Z28 single valve springs that I just happen to have on the shelf. They're came out of a customer's head with low mileage, so I just run them through the spring checker up there at ARI. I'm not recommending you go to ARI. I just went up there to use their, have them check the valve springs on it, and they were in good shape. All the pressures were 100, right within a certain percentage of 110 at the installed height. So that'll be plenty with this little baby cam. So, out there, junk off of it. I wanted to just get this, at least this much of it done, because these 492 double humps have a real light port, what I would just kind of clean up, a little bit of bowl blend by Gasket match to the 1205s. It's got stainless steel Ferrari, some people call them Ferrara, some people call them Ferrari, but it's got stainless steel valves, 202 160s. I think these are Manley guide plates with Elgin Pro Ice, or I don't know, cryogenically treated screw-in rocker studs. So, and then when I put it together, I just used a brand new set of head bolts, so there's nothing special about them. But I just want to get this thing fixed so that the thing will quit using so much oil, and put in that lumpier cam so the thing will be ready to run and make some more power and sound good. Because basically, at this point, I'm not really going to be racing that car that much. I'm not going to race it at all, as long as it has that 7.5 10 bolt in it, because I have found the limit of the 7.5 10 bolt, and I do not plan on finding that limit again, because snapping that axle the first time, as much fun as that was, I don't think I'm ready to do that again. So I thought I'd just do a quick little video while I was pulling the upper valve train off, making a few comments about that. I can't remember if it was Melling or Elgin. I want to say it was Melling, but it was just a cam and cheap, you know, cam and lifter set I threw in this engine, because it was mostly just supposed to be a daily driver. And then I ended up wanting to play with it, you know, with my friends and at the track and whatnot. But those lifters absolutely are horrible. They didn't go flat. I mean, I haven't pulled it out yet, because I will check them when I pull it out. But they didn't go flat, but they won't stay pumped up. They won't stay filled with oil at all. Like, they're literally, as soon as you turn the motor off, they bleed down. There is no holding any kind of tension on the rocker arms or none of that. So basically what happens, every time you restart the engine, they clatter like crazy until they pump back up. And you know, maybe that's a side effect, you know, because we had that problem previously, or I had that problem where if I drove it on the highway at 3,000 RPMs for 10 miles or more, those ladders got, the rocker arms and lifters got really loud, almost like a solid lift cam. And then if you shut the engine off and set the engine off, let it set long enough, fire it back up, it'd be back to a normal hydraulic lifter sound, or you know, that sewing machine normal tone you get through your rocker arms while it's running. So I don't know, maybe those lifters were just that cheap that they just didn't jive. I have considered the fact that because I put that high volume oil pump in here, maybe it's just pumping too much oil. I mean, it's possible, because I've read several references, and I kind of knew this from years ago, but I forgot about it, that a high volume oil pump is actually needs, or it's supposed to be set up with a 7-quart oil capacity. And I think these engines only have 5 or 6 quarts. Now, my friend Andy, he has the same pump in his race engine that I put in this one. He went to a 2-quart filter off of a big truck to gain extra capacity in his oiling system, and it so far looks like it helped quite a bit. So I will either be looking into changing the spring for this high volume pump down to a regular standard volume, or possibly just leaving the pan mostly on during the cam swap and going to that 2-quart filter so I can add a little bit of volume to my oil capacity. So whatever I do, I just want to make sure I don't have any more headaches out of it. I want to make sure it's a good, strong running engine that I can enjoy up until the day I sell it to somebody else. So like I said, this whole thing, I would not sell someone an engine that I wouldn't buy myself. So I'm going in, correcting some issues, throwing a little cam at it, making it run a lot stronger with a rebuilt transmission. And then when I get ready to do my LS swap, I will make somebody a deal. They can buy this, you know, carburetor to oil pan, MSD ignition, transmission, $3,500. They can get all of it. Just a whole, you know, basically whole setup. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching these videos. Apparently I'm just on cloud 9 with energy, trying to get a few things done, make some lists, and kind of prepare for Friday. So I just thought I'd get down here and work on this engine a little bit and get ready. Thanks for watching.